Alright, in this video we are going to attempt to install macOS on a virtual machine inside of VMware. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm actually on this Intel iMac, a 2019. This machine is still running wonderfully. And the reason why I wanted to try this is because a few years ago I tried this on a 2012 Mac Mini, and it worked perfectly fine. I was able to have Mac OS. There was no video acceleration, but it worked perfectly fine. And I know this is possible to do very easily on an Apple Silicon Mac, but I want to see if it is still possible to do this with an Intel Mac. So the thing that I already tried before rolling the screen capture is trying this option that says install macOS from the recovery partition, and this gives me two options for Sequoia, and it just endlessly sticks on the preparing phase. So I don't think that is going to work. So what I do remember from several years ago when I tried this before on a much older version of VMware is that you could drag a macOS installation application file into this box and it would work. So what I'm going to try is downloading just via the software update. I haven't done this in a long time, and to be honest, my tech sort of brain is a little bit rusty because I've been working on totally unrelated things like musicology and comparative politics and things like that. So my tech brain is super rusty. But I'm going to try, let's see, software update -- I need to list full installer. And this should be able to just list whatever available ones there are. I'm going to try to download Sequoia just because this machine is currently running Sequoia. And then later, if this even works, we'll see if we can get Tahoe. I'm really curious about Tahoe. So we have 15.7.2. Is that what this is running, or 15.7.1? This is running 15.7. So what I'm going to try is 15.7.2. So I think the way we do that is software update -- fetch full installer -- full installer version. And what did I want? 15.7.2. 15.7.2. And I think if this works, if this goes according to plan, we should have a 15.7.2 installer. So I'll come back to you when that is finished. So this is appearing to work so far. I will say it is very nice, as much as the Fusion drive absolutely sucks. Because number one, it's outdated technology. Number two, it's very slow. But the thing that's nice about it is I do not ever have to worry about running out of storage. I've only used, according to this stats, 15%, only 156 gigabytes of the hard drive. So I have like plenty of internal storage to work with. All right, so here we have our install macOS Sequoia, 15.71 gigabytes. Let's open VMware and try to drag this in here. Okay, so I was just remembering as I was downloading this installation image that I tried this several months ago, or maybe even several years ago, on this same machine. And I remember something about this didn't work. And I cannot remember what didn't work. I was just realizing that. And I cannot remember what didn't work. So macOS 15. Let's give this more than 4 gigabytes of RAM. Let's see. Let's save this. Where is this going to save? That is going to save in my home folder. That's actually fine. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. I feel like this may have been where it failed. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see whether or not this works. This is still running, but what we can do here, just to sort of monitor what's going on, is we can go into Activity Monitor, and that's usually accessed by going into the utility section of Launchpad, or you can just search for Activity Monitor. In this case, I have it in the dock. And going to this Disk tab and switching this graph to show data. And then you can see how much data is being written on the disk. We can see what is sort of increasing in terms of what is writing data is this disk images helper. And so I like to just sort of assume that that's probably the process that VMware is using in order to create this disk image. So I'm really curious to see if this works or if it doesn't work. I think what I'm going to try, if it doesn't work, is to try a different version of macOS, because I have a feeling that maybe that will solve the problem. I'm not entirely sure. Because I do remember that something about this process didn't work, that I could not actually create the virtual machine last I tried this. So let's see what happens. All right, so we can see the problem. You can see my screen recordings accumulating on the desktop here. Unable to create the installation medium. So I looked this up. One of the top results was to try this shell script. So I'm just going to do this in real time here. So I'm going to close this. I'm actually going to quit out of VMware entirely. So I think what we need to do is download this, and I'm just going to try to follow these instructions here. So we need to download this, and sure, and we need to run this within the terminal. So I think the way this works, just following these instructions are pretty simple. This does not say it works with Sequoia. This does not say it works with Sequoia, so that's going to be interesting to see. So we need to run this with this example usage. So we need to go into the terminal again. I'll just make this bigger for both the viewer and for me to see it. So we need to go sudo, and we need to open a Finder window. And we need to navigate here and go like this. I think that's what we need to do. Let's see. That's right. And then we need to go, since that's in quotes, I'm going to put it in quotes here. And then what do we do? Path to output directory. So I'm going to go slash, I'll put it in the documents folder just for ease of convenience. Oh, that's going to get rid of the documents from the sidebar. So we need to go slash users slash, what's my home folder name? I think it's just my actual name slash documents. Let's see, here we go. Command not found. Or is there something that I'm not seeing here? Do I need the Xcode tools? Is, I guess, my next question. Let's see. What am I doing wrong? Uses the macOS installer's create install media. I mean, there's a way to convert a DMG to create an ISO file out of a thing. Okay, so I want to try something. Because this script, I don't know what I'm doing wrong with this script. It looks as though I'm going to just try to copy this text and just replace different parts of it with what we need to do. Command not found. There must be something that I'm doing wrong. There's got to be something that I'm doing wrong with this script. So this script is probably not going to do me any good because I don't really know what I'm doing wrong. Maybe somebody can let me know down in the comments what I'm doing wrong with this script. So instead, what I'm going to try is sudo path to application. Oh my gosh, what's the path? You go contents. Gosh, my tech brain is so rusty. Resources, create install media. Oh crap, I need a disk image. Okay, so we need to create a disk image. This is a lot more complicated than I thought. Thankfully, I have 1.03 terabytes of storage to work with, and I have external hard drives galore too, some of which aren't even plugged in. So I have plenty of material. Okay, so we need to create a new blank image. Sequoia installer. Sure, that can go in the documents folder. That's going to be 32 gigabytes. And we are going to make this macOS extended. If you make it APFS, it's not going to work with the create install media. Okay, so this disk image is taking ages to create. I think it's because I'm trying to do too much on this hard drive. I mean, basically the Fusion drive, it's a hard drive. It's basically a hard drive. It's super slow. And I'm trying to do too much. And whatever. And I just realized my stupid mistake, which is just so embarrassing. I didn't actually put the name of the, I didn't put a .iso at the end of the command, which I think is my problem. So I literally think that was my problem. I don't think, I can't really cancel this disk image creating, but I'm going to try this ISO script one more time because I think that was a grave mistake and very embarrassing. So I'm going to see if that works when this is done, and I'll have this disk image, this empty disk image, in case this doesn't work. But when this is done, I'm gonna try this shell script once more. Okay, so we have our ISO image, which is untitled. I don't know why it's called that. I should rename it, but I'm just going to eject it for now, and I'm going to just ditch this terminal window and open a new one. So I'm going to try this shell script again, which is in my downloads folder. So I'm going to go here. Command not found. I knew it. Okay, somebody let me know what I'm doing wrong in the comments. I have no idea at this point. Okay, so that rules out this shell script. So I'm going to go Sequoia installer.dmg, which is 32 gigabytes. Should be more than enough. Can I rename this? Yes. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so this is going to go like this, and we go /contents /resources /create install media dash oh gosh, volume, and I think we need to go here, and I will add the no interaction so that it won't ask us to erase or anything. Actually, what I'm going to do, just to be uber safe, is erase. Or I mean, not erase. That would be terrible if I erase this. I'm going to eject this external hard drive. And of course it won't eject. Come on. There we go. Okay, so this SSD is ejected. I'm going to actually unplug it. Okay, I just would hate to erase that because that has all my music on it and stuff. Okay, and that is going to be there. Tool must be run as root. Why do I always forget to attach sudo? Okay, so this seems to be working. And it's renamed itself, so that's good. So again, let's see. We can go here, kind of monitor this progress. So when this is done, this looks to be copying relatively quickly. I mean, it's still going to take a while. We can actually just search create install media for the process, and we can see it, writing data. So I'm going to wait for this to finish, and then we will figure out how to convert this to an ISO image. There is a way to do it, and I did it, and I've been able to do it, and it involves using the diskutil command, and I cannot remember for the life of me how to do it, so we're going to figure that out. All right, so we have our installation media. That didn't take that long. I mean, it took maybe 20 minutes or so. So we have this installation media. So I'm going to close out of terminal. Here's our installation media here, which I'm going to eject. So this file should have, yeah, 17.55 gigabytes of it are used on the disk. Okay. So here's what we're going to try. I want to see if a DMG will mount. I highly doubt it, because it says drag your ISO, but why not? Let's see. Don't I already have a... Wait, I already have a... Do I already have a virtual machine? Hold on a minute. I need to view virtual machine library. Oh, no, I don't. Okay, I thought I had already made one. Okay, so I don't know what DMG is going to work, but may as well. If it works, it would save us a lot of time. I'm going to customize settings later. I'm just going to see if this works. Okay, that's fine for now. Oh, is this frozen? Oh no, it's grayed out. You can't even start it. Oh wait, maybe you can start it. I have no idea what's happening. Nothing is really working yet. I'm gonna give this a couple minutes because maybe it'll, I don't know, maybe it might take some time. Okay, well this is quick to not work. Good to know. Looks like you cannot mount a DMG. So, the way that I think we do this is we go to disk utility and we go to convert. And what I read online is you can literally just, once it's going to create a .cdr file when we select DVD CD master, but apparently you can just literally rename the extension. So I don't know if that's going to work or if this process is even going to work. But I'm going to leave this to do its thing. I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, it's 17 gigabytes on a spinning hard drive, so it may take a while. But I'm just going to leave this and see what happens. Okay, so here's our converted disk image. And apparently I can literally go like this. I mean, that's what I looked online, and a few different pages showed that you could just literally rename it. So, let's try this again. I don't know how to get rid of these old, let's see. Just so I don't accidentally select the wrong one. Okay. I'll keep it like that for now. Sure, save it there. All right. Will it work? I don't know. Probably not. I see no world would it be this easy for this to work. So we're gonna see here. Okay, this doesn't look great. I just see in the verbose output, no media, no compatible bootloader. All of these error messages, no operating system. Okay. What is going on? This is so confusing. And really, really weird. So, is there something that I need to do in the settings? I'm just going to try, I need to power this off, actually, somehow. I don't know how to actually power this off. Come on. Okay, that took a really long time. Could I just... I mean, like, is there something that I need to... Select the device, CD, DVD. Sure. maybe I need to put the CD in the virtual machine sort of slot. Yeah, there it is. There's the. That is so weird. So I'm gonna do a little bit more digging online to see if I can figure out how to do this. I'm just sort of stuck at this point. This is really, really weird. I'm gonna delete this. This is very strange. Okay, so I've sort of looked around a little bit on the forums, and it looks like a lot of other people have the same problem. And it's weird because like some people have the problem and then other people don't have the problem. So it's really interesting to see sort of the variety in terms of this. So I think the other thing that I want to try here is I'm actually going to get rid of this. I understand all of this didn't work. This is going to be such a huge pain. I'm going to try to create a Mojave virtual machine or a Catalina virtual machine or something like that and upgrade it. I mean, like, I don't know what else to try at this point. Because I remember on my 2012 Mini, I think it was a Mojave virtual machine that was running on it, and it worked perfectly fine. So, oh my gosh. I'm also very tired. So, let's see. Software update dash dash fetch full installer dash dash full installer version 10.14.6. That is the latest version of Mojave, all the way from 2018. So I don't know what to try anymore. This worked on my 2012 Mini. The Mojave installer should be like half the size of this Sequoia installer, so it shouldn't take as long to download. I'm going to try it. Alright, so here we have a Mojave installer, my favorite version ever of macOS. I loved macOS Mojave. It was fast and stable and everything was great. So here we go. 2 gigs of RAM is definitely not enough. Can we customize these settings before we start the virtual machine is what I'm wanting to do. Will this fail? I don't know. Will this fail or not? What do you think? I'll give it a couple minutes. Let's go into Activity Monitor and just sort of check this out. It's taking kind of a while. This installer is only 6 gigabytes. I don't know what process is that's writing to disk image, but it's one of these disk images helper, perhaps. Not entirely sure. Probably all of these different processes. So we'll just give this even more time, see what happens. Alright, so that did not look as though it failed. So I'm going to allot more RAM. I'm going to allot 4 gigabytes of RAM. And I'll go 4 processor cores just to save ourselves some processing power here on the actual iMac. How big is our startup disk? Or how big is our extra hard drive? 40 gigs. Ooh. I don't think that's enough. I think we've got to make this bigger. I don't even think 64 is going to be enough. I'm going to go 128. Because if we're going to try to upgrade this, we're going to need more hard drive space. Okay. So, will this work? I don't know. So far, Mojave seems to be working better than Sequoia. So, we'll just give this a second, see if it works. All right, so we are booting into what looks to be a Mojave installer. The only thing that I'm also worried about is will we be able to capture keyboard and mouse? It looks like we are now, but I know in previous times that I've used VMware that has been a bit of a problem. And I'm also wondering about the display scaling, if we can sort of fix the display scaling. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. Ultimately, if it's in this 4:3 aspect ratio, it doesn't really matter. But we'll see. Hearing my iMac's fans start to spin up a little bit, probably because we're using a good bit of CPU power. But I'll just keep us going and we'll see what happens. All right, that's a good sign. And we're getting a cursor. Excellent. Our display is super fuzzy. I don't know if that's something I can fix in the settings. I will look at that in a second. This is very slow. So I think we're going to have to reformat our disk. Oh, really? Okay. No, I don't want to do that quite yet. I want to reformat our disk because I don't think our disk is going to show up. Macintosh. Oh, wait, no. Okay, why is this still 42 gigabytes? Yep. Still only showing 42 gigabytes. Let's check our settings here. 128 gigabytes. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to waste time by installing macOS on a 42 gigabyte thing because we're not going to have enough space to actually download any new operating systems. So I'm going to shut this down, and I guess we'll have to do this all over again because I don't know what's happening with this. Let's see. Let's go here. I'm just going to verify. 128 gigabytes. That is so weird. Maybe the settings didn't apply. I'm going to try making it like 130 gigabytes and trying that. Virtual disk resized successfully. Fill the available space. Well, guess what? The available space just shows up as... Gosh, this is so annoying. Okay, let me try. Let's see if that fixed our issue. If that didn't fix our issue, then I have no idea what will fix our issue because it looks like that was what I tried when I resized. That was my only opportunity to resize it. I couldn't resize it before the virtual disk was created. So I don't know. Maybe there's a setting I can turn off or setting I can turn on or something, but I have no idea. This is really kind of exhausting, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, let's see. I would imagine this is going to be able to boot again, and when it does, we'll see. So here we are, booted up again. Let's see here. I want to try something because I realized I didn't select the whole disk when I looked here, so I want to see if that's part of my problem. Yeah, this is still. So when I go show all devices, aha! Aha! Okay, so all we gotta do is literally just reformat this. That should fix our issue. So let's wait for this to format. Yeah, there we go. All right, install macOS. For some reason it's registering some single clicks as double clicks, which is weird. All right, here we go. Plenty of storage to install and to upgrade. We can open our installer log. That's always a neat thing that you can do is open the installer log. I want to check just really quickly at our display. 3D acceleration. Well, obviously 3D acceleration isn't going to work. But I want to look here. Huh. Yeah, there's no way to set a custom resolution, is there? I could have sworn there used to be some way to do that. Anyway, we'll just have to live with this square aspect ratio, which isn't that big of a deal. I just wish I could stretch it a little bit farther, maybe over here. Go show all logs. That way it'll just, yeah, see, it's downloading stuff. Yeah, we're getting a beach ball. I don't know why that is. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so we can see it's downloading files. That's always why I like to have the installer log, because it's just a nice way to be able to see this. So that is the plan. We're just going to wait for this to install. I'm going to see if I can work on some of my final papers and stuff as this is going, because this is going to take, I'm going to guess, probably an hour. So I will keep you updated if anything significant happens, but other than that, I'm just waiting for this to go. Here we are. That took a very long time. And here we are on our fresh installation. So I'm just going to set this up as new here for you. And then we're going to test, see if we can even upgrade this, because I don't even know if we're going to be able to upgrade it. I don't know how a virtual machine works, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I know on a very simple level, but not stuff about, can you upgrade it within the operating system. So we're going to check that out here. All right, let's keep doing the setup here. I'm going to go with dark mode. I think dark mode is, I don't know, I like dark mode. I don't have it on my actual host operating system, but I think it's a good way to go. I do want to check one really quick thing. Let me do this. This is always what I like to do in setting up new stuff, just to make it so that we have the hard drive available, so we can see we have no video acceleration. I mean, it's relatively fast, for having no graphics acceleration. We should look, I just want to see here. Yeah, no graphic acceleration. That's a very weird serial number there. Got plenty of storage. Displays, yeah, I'm curious about the display situation. Yeah, that's what I thought. We are limited to 1024 by 768. So my question is, can we upgrade to Tahoe just within software update? Is that something that's going to work? I kind of doubt it, and I looked in software update on the host on this iMac, and Tahoe just isn't on the list. Maybe that's because the iMac isn't compatible with Tahoe. Let me try to run the command just within the virtual machine. Software update -- list full installer. Wow, does the software update command not work in Mojave? What are the available flags? Software update list. Yeah, they did change it. -list. Gosh, why does this not work? Oh, I need to put 2 dashes. Let's see if that works. There we go. Finding available software. Let's see what shows up within here, because it looks like Sequoia is the latest OS we can actually upgrade to. No, but I want to list. Is there no way to list all the full installers in this version of the software update tool? That might not be possible. Huh. Okay. I wonder, now I cannot remember if the Apple developer site has full installers available, but I know. Now wait a minute. I know you can download. Wow, this is really super glitchy. I'm not going to go that far quite yet. I'm going to try downloading. I don't even know what to Google search for this. Let's see. I think this is the right tool. Ah, GitHub. Am I even going to be able to do this? This is super. I mean, it's a super old version of Safari that probably is not. Good Lord. Okay, I thought that would be a problem. Is there... Okay, I just want to try something. Can you drag and drop files between stuff? Is that a thing that you can do? I'm really curious. Can you just... No. So I could try Sequoia, but I do want to see if Tahoe would even install. So let me download... Let me see if Firefox would work. Oh, but the latest version of Firefox isn't going to work. Maybe the ESR version is going to work. Let's try this. I have no idea really what I'm doing anymore, to be honest. I'm just sort of going along here, just seeing. I'm really curious about Activity Monitor, too. Like what that shows, you know, within the graphs and stuff. Yeah, we got 4 cores. No GPU history available, but yeah, we can see the 4 cores going. And my iMac fan spinning up quite loud. Firefox. This is a lot more convoluted than I thought, though I'm not entirely shocked. I'm just glad we've created an 128 gigabyte hard drive for this. All right. I'm going to disable that show recent apps in the dock thing. I think that's a very annoying setting. How do you do that? Gosh. You need to go here and show recents. There, that's gone. Okay, so now all I need to search for is, I'll just do the same Google search. What I'm looking for is this tool that will let me download macOS installers. Oh, crap. Hold on a minute. I think this tool doesn't work on Mojave. I just realized that. Yeah. Needs Monterey and later. I forgot. Okay. So, I think maybe the easiest way is, I know Mr. Macintosh hosts full installers on his website. So I'm going to check here. Tahoe installers. Okay. All right. I have no idea if this is going to work. We got to download 16 gigabytes to find out. So I'm going to wait. This is going to take 10 minutes or so, and we'll see what happens here. I'm curious whether or not Tahoe is even gonna let me install it on here, or whether this virtual machine itself is incompatible. Because what's the problem is the host Mac. This 2019 iMac is not compatible with macOS Tahoe. I mean, what would be really funny is if we tried to open core in a virtual machine. That would be really funny. I don't think I'm going to go that far because, number one, I don't have a lot of time to do. I mean, I have time, but this iMac is up in college in my dorm, and I am going to be flying back home for winter break relatively soon in just a couple of days. And so I'm not going to have this iMac at my disposal after, basically after Wednesday at 11:30 is when I'm going to the airport. So I'm not going to have a whole bunch of time to like test OpenCore. That would be really funny to try that. The other thing that I want to try that actually probably would involve using OpenCore would be to use my HP Z420 at home to try to get a macOS virtual machine running with OpenCore. That is going to be a heck of a process, but I think there is a way to do that within VMware Workstation. And my HP Z420, I think the CPU supports VMware Workstation. I'll have to check that out. It is an older machine. It has a a Haswell CPU or whatever the E5 2697 V2 is. But no, that's Ivy Bridge. Regardless, that would be something interesting to test. So I may try that out. When I am back home on that computer, I really miss that computer. It's a great computer. I'll have some videos about that hopefully over the break that I can do. So I'm going to be also traveling a lot over break, so I'm not going to be home for that much. But I will still be able to make some videos. So just look forward to a couple of Z420 stuff. So anyway, that's a long, rambly way of saying that I'm going to wait for this to download. All right, it's been a couple of hours. This file has been downloaded for a while now. And my virtual machine went to sleep. There we go. So this file has been downloaded for a couple of hours, and so we are going to try to launch this installer. Okay, great. So, no, we cannot. Aha! So you cannot upgrade from Mojave to Tahoe. Interesting. Okay, so what I want to try actually is I'm going to keep that Tahoe image on here, but I want to try upgrading to Sequoia because that can get us really close. And if that doesn't, if Sequoia doesn't work, then Tahoe is definitely not going to work. So let's wait for another 15 gigabytes to download. Let me just make sure we have enough storage. We should. I'm not worried about it. If we have to delete the Tahoe thing and re-download it, we can do that. But yeah, it looks like we've got plenty of storage. I know it requires about 50 gigabytes to copy all the installation files. So we just got to make sure that we have enough storage, which I think we do. So I'm going to let this run, work on my paper some more. Almost done with it, actually. and then we can proceed with this, and we'll see what happens. All right, so here is the macOS Sequoia installer. I kind of highly doubt this is going to work. I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. I'll open the log too. I think I can do that. As long as I get past the beach ball. There we go. Gosh, this virtual machine is really slow. Very, very slow. Okay, so here is the installer log. We can see it running here. We can see the Sequoia installer here in the dock. So it looks like, gosh, I don't even know how long this is going to take. A couple hours probably for this to go. We can sort of verify. I just want to look really quickly. Whoops. I want to look very quickly. That is an excellent album, by the way. Just at how big our virtual machine is. Where it's saved in the home folder in virtual machines. Looks like 49 gigabytes so far is used by the VM, which makes sense. I just want to make sure. Let's check our storage here. Gosh, if I can even open system preferences, this virtual machine is slow. I bet it's also influenced by the Fusion drive, the fact that I have a bunch of apps open on the actual computer. No, system preferences isn't even how you check the storage. Gosh, I'm so used to going to the system settings and checking the storage. That's not how you do it in these older versions here. So we need to go here and click on the storage tab. Oh man, this is slow. It didn't used to be this slow. I wonder if it's the fact that I have a bunch of stuff open on the actual iMac. Wow, this is, I don't even know how long this is going to take. The progress bar hasn't even moved. Probably by me trying to do a bunch of stuff on the VM as it's going is not going to help. There's also no way to do mission control. I can't use the F3 key to get into mission control, so I can't see which windows are actually open. Gosh, this is bad. Really, really bad. It's still verifying shared support.dmg, so I'm just going to leave this. The About This Mac screen open yet? No. This is super slow. I don't even think I've seen a real Mac go this slow. Maybe, like a non-metal accelerated system, that's like a Mac Pro or something with a non-metal video card. Wow, this is... Oh, there it is. Finally. Wow. This is bad. Oh man, I probably should move this VM onto an external hard drive. I might even do that. I mean, it's too late to do that now. It's not even worth trying to do that. We have plenty of storage to go. It's not even worth trying to remove this virtual machine onto an external drive. It's kind of too late, and I've already got this installer going. So we'll just wait. I mean, it's 9:55 p.m. It might take until 11:55 p.m. I don't know. It's probably going to take a very, very long time for this to go. But in some cases, that's fine, especially now that I have a paper to finish, which is getting close to finishing here. So that will be a good use of the time while this is going. So I will come back to you when we have any sort of meaningful result. All right, so I've been leaving this for a while now, and it is still stuck here. It looked like it finished the installation, like it went through the time remaining on the bottom, and it restarted at some point, and it just kernel panicked. Okay. Oh man, okay, I want to see what what's the deal here. Let's see if this boots up here. Um, wow. All right, I'm glad I got that on video. That's crazy. I never expected a virtual machine to kernel panic. Well, I guess that's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, I know what's very strange about this iMac is sometimes this iMac will kernel panic when it boots up. And sometimes it takes a couple of tries for me to boot it up successfully. I don't know what the problem is, or why it kernel panics. It may have something to do with the Fusion drive failing. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that's part of the problem, but sometimes it does just kernel panic. So I wonder if this is just one of those cases where the virtual machine is kernel panicking, because sometimes this computer will actually just kernel panic when it boots. So maybe the virtual machine is having the same problem. I have no idea. I should move it onto this. This is an external SSD, and it has enough storage to house this virtual machine temporarily, at least. But I also have a couple of other spinning hard drives that could easily house this virtual machine. Yeah, this drive is mainly for all my music. I have a striking amount of music on this hard drive, and it's already starting to fill up. I probably should have bought a terabyte for it, but yeah, this is still going. I wonder what is going to happen. So I'm going to stop this screen recording, and I just want to see if there's anything significant that happens. I will fill you in. All right, we got to a login window. This is interesting. Like, the clock has transparency, but nothing else has transparency. That is funny. And it looks like, I'm just observing this with my own eyes, it looks like we've got like a retina pixel density. So I wonder if we are going to be able to change the display resolution. I mean, I kind of doubt it, but I want to check that out. It looks like we're probably going to have to go through a setup. I mean, this is just without acceleration. This is just how slow these machines are. I mean, if you have done anything with OpenCore on like a non-metal Mac, or even on a newer, metal Mac, sometimes you have these super slow experiences where it just crawls and takes ages to do anything. All right, lovely. This is a great start to Sequoia in a virtual machine. Great start. Wow. All right, third time's the charm, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna... Yeah, I don't know. This took like 10 minutes to boot up last time, so maybe not quite 10 minutes, but a long, long time. So I'm gonna stop the screen capture once more and start it again when it boots up. All right, we have the virtual machine booted up again. Let's try this. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try moving this onto either this drive or a bigger drive. I'm just worried about this one running out of storage. Sort of bigger spinning hard drive. I do want to look at the size of our VM just in the operating system, just to see what am I doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so it's gotten a lot bigger because we have all that data on the virtual hard disk. So I don't know if this is going to work. It may just kernel panic. I mean, it's looking increasingly likely that it's just going to kernel panic over and over and over. Now, there is a way to boot verbosely, but there is no verbose login. which is kind of a problem because I would like to see exactly where it is encountering an issue. And I don't think that is something you can do unless you have automatic login turned on. And I don't know, number one, how to boot a virtual machine into single user mode to enable that, nor do I know if it is possible to enable automatic login in single user mode, nor do I know the command, if it were possible, that you would have to type in to enable it. So that would be something that I have to do a lot of digging to try to find that information. But it looks like we're going nowhere. It is just spinning here, and my iMac's fans are ramping up. I do want to look really quickly at activity monitor. Gosh, this iMac itself is running slow due to this virtual machine, and we are hitting swap. I mean, that could be part of the problem. I mean, this machine has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and we are hitting swap. And it's not even using all the RAM. So I don't know why it's using swap. That's so weird. And look at the login window. Oh, I think it just kernel panicked. Look at the login window process is using 6 gigabytes of RAM. So maybe, I think what I'm going to try is, I mean, this is so weird. I mean, this just isn't going to work. So I'm going to power this virtual machine down, and I think let me release the mouse, you do that by shut down. So the operating system is on the virtual machine. It doesn't look like there's a way to just move the VM from VMware, so I'm going to go show in Finder, and then I'm going to connect one of my external hard drives. Probably not going to move it onto this because I just don't think this drive is ultimately going to have enough storage. So I'm going to just transfer this 70 gigabyte file from the internal hard drive of this iMac to an external hard drive. I don't know if that's going to fix the problem. I have this 3 terabyte hard drive. I don't even know if it's formatted in I don't even know what the file system is, if that's going to cause a problem, but we'll check that out in a second. So let me get that and kind of plug that in, and we'll check that out here. All right, so I've just connected the drive. I actually didn't even realize I had that drive I've had that drive in my backpack all semester, and I have never taken it out. So this is a 3 terabyte, yep. And I have, it looks like, a bunch of videos that I probably don't need. Let me just check how much storage this has left on it. 2.7 terabytes, formatted as exFAT. So I don't think the file system is going to be a problem. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to literally just Option Command V to move this 70 gigabyte virtual machine. I don't know if that is going to fix the problem, but it may do something. And then I also just, I mean, I don't know what to try if that doesn't work. I think what I maybe want to do, because I mean, I'm just looking at this. Why is the login window process using so much RAM, and why am I hitting swap when I'm using 9 gigabytes of RAM on this iMac? I mean, that is nonsensical. So I think I'm going to restart this iMac too. So I'm going to copy this file, and it's going to take 13 minutes to do, which is kind of a long time for 70 gigabytes. I mean, it is copying from basically, again, like I said at the beginning of the video, the Fusion drive is basically a hard drive. So it is copying from a hard drive to another hard drive. Now, I should say, I don't know exactly the health of this hard drive. I have had problems with this hard drive in the past that reformatting it has fixed. Sometimes if I fill it up, enough, it does have sector read problems. And this drive is like 5 years old, so it's not even that old of a hard drive. I don't know, Western Digital, I've never had terribly good luck with Western Digital in the past. I've had actually a Western Digital drive completely fail. So I am like slightly concerned about me losing this virtual machine for good. I'm not too worried about all this data on here because, to be honest, I don't exactly know what this is. Um, that would be something for me to go in and actually look at what this footage is. I have no idea. Looks like stuff that I was doing in July and August of 2025 of this year, so I don't know. Um, anyway, I'm going to let this go, and gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see. Okay, this is actually insane. And you're going to be looking at Activity Monitor for a few minutes, because I've got to explain this. This iMac took 5 minutes to boot, like on the Apple logo, and took a full 10 minutes to log in. It's already 11:26 p.m. This iMac took 20 minutes from the time that I hit the power button, when I shut it down and turn it on again, but before everything was loaded in, before the dock was loaded in, before the desktop icons were loaded in, before the stats were loaded in, before OneDrive loaded, before the menu bar took like 5 minutes on its own to load. It was crazy. Now, I think this really speaks to the Fusion drive and how much the Fusion drive really just destroys this computer. Now, I should say I have here an external SSD in my desk drawer that has an installation of Sequoia on it, and it has some apps, like Microsoft Office and Outlook and stuff like that. And it is 256 gigabyte SSD. Now, why would I not boot off of that SSD? The reason is because, number one, it's 256 gigabytes. That's next to nothing in terms of like actually being able to practically store stuff on your internal hard drive, which I don't store a lot on my internal hard drive, but enough to need more than 256 gigabytes as a practical use. And so the problem is with that SSD, not only is it super small, but it's also that the SSD that I bought, I basically did an internal SSD and an enclosure. So like Wayfarer here is the same deal. It's an internal SSD in an enclosure, but Wayfarer is a much better SSD. I bought this like $30 256 gigabyte SSD, and the enclosure is the same as Wayfarer's enclosure. It's just a different color. And so it's the SSD that I bought that is surely the problem, but that SSD is horrible. It has no cache, which means that sometimes it's actually slower than the Fusion drive. Like it's slower than a hard drive sometimes. And so I'm like, I would rather suffer with a hard drive and have to deal with the thing taking 10 minutes to log in rather than having to deal with this SSD. I will use this SSD as a backup. Like if the Fusion drive totally fails and the iMac refuses to boot, I have this SSD. I have this SSD in case for some reason I want to boot my MacBook Pro off of it to like take data off of it or something. I have this SSD. And I'm glad I do. Anyway, enough of my rant. So I restarted the computer and it took 20 minutes to restart. Okay, so that's my whole thing. So going into here, and of course VMware is going to take ages to open, I'm going to bet. Not really. Okay. Will it launch? So I restarted the iMac, and I moved the virtual machine onto this hard drive. The virtual machine, I moved it. It was moved. The VM does not exist in its original location anymore. Okay, great. It still boots. Hopefully. We'll see. It is going super slow. My gosh, this is like a hard drive. Well, I mean, it is a hard drive. This reminds me of my 2012 Mac Mini before I replaced the hard drive with an SSD. That was an experience. Like, that was slower than this. That would stick. I remember whenever I would log in, because I would sometimes, shut it down and like unplug it for the night, sometimes just to kind of just for it to kind of just reset, because at that point I was sort of not super knowledgeable about like how many times should you restart your computer or whatever. And so I would shut it down fairly frequently and restart it the next morning. And on that 2012 Mac Mini, which was my first desktop computer, actually, I had it, when was that, like 8-9 years ago, and it would stick on a black screen for a very long time before the desktop would even show up. And it was a horrible experience. And I replaced the hard drive with an SSD and got much better results. I actually miss that computer. I think that computer was it was nice. I mean, it was a super slow computer. Like it was not powerful. It was a dual core processor. It was super slow. Like video editing was just terrible. Compared to like DaVinci Resolve, like I would run DaVinci Resolve. I think that was like version 15 or 16, and it would take hours to render a video. I remember it taking 2-3 hours to export a video. It was super slow because it would just have these integrated graphics. It had no dedicated graphics. What if I click report? Is that going to fix my kernel panic? Will reporting the problem to Apple fix the kernel panic? What is going to fix the kernel panic? I now know that I'm now noticing that what was I going to say? I'm noticing the screen is blurry again, and that the clock is in a different language. That is weird. Okay. Oh, I see the problem. Maybe it's having a problem sort of moving between Mojave and Sequoia. So I'm going to go open anyway and open anyway and OK. And maybe we will get a result. I mean, this is the farthest we've gotten. Previously, it's kernel panicked. I need to change the language or whatever the problem is, because this is the wrong language or the wrong locale. Let's see, what settings would I need to... Oh my gosh. Why do I need to type in DNS information? I don't think I've ever been asked to type in DNS information before. Or anything of that sort. I'm just trying to continue through it. Yeah, because it's connected to the internet. You know what? I don't really care. I'll figure out how to connect it to the internet later. I read somewhere that sometimes VMware virtual machines have problems with connecting to the internet, and that there is a way to fix it. So I'll need to look at that. But my iMac fans are going crazy. I want to look at Activity Monitor real quick. Because we have no wallpaper. Yeah, we're using a little bit of swap, but I want to check these just to see what the host machine is dealing with. All right, because my iMac fans are going crazy. Wow. Okay, this is not a good experience. And my macOS Tahoe is gone. Great. Isn't that just great? Or maybe it's still here. I have no idea. Let me go to System Settings. What I need to do is actually check. Yeah, this virtual machine is still 70 gigabytes. So stuff has to still be on here and just not showing up. Wow, that is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I can't even read the text. Something is very wrong with this. I want to see if... Yeah, 3D accelerated graphics cannot work. Are we able to change the resolution of the display? No. Can we change the wallpaper to something that will actually show up? because I doubt that these moving wallpapers are going to work. Wow, not even... We can't get any wallpaper. Isn't that great? Oh, wait, these wallpapers work. I think our dynamic wallpapers probably don't work. I am going to just... We got so far. We got so close. Oh my gosh. I want to try to successfully upgrade this virtual machine to Tahoe. That is my goal, and it's not going to be tonight. I have one more day here before I am going to travel, and before I'm going to fly home and not have this iMac. So I think I can do it. It's 11:38. I'm not going to be staying up for too much longer, because there is one last part of that paper that I have to do before it's due tomorrow at midnight. So I need to finish that tomorrow, but that is going to be my plan when I'm done with that, is to fix this virtual machine, or try to get it in a somewhat of a working state, because I want to try to upgrade it to Tahoe. That's going to be my goal. Okay, so here we go. We have logged in, and our wallpaper is gone. I think what I want to do is set it to just a solid color. That's what I was going to do right before it crashed. So I'm going to just try to set it to a solid color, because that'll make it easier on the system. Oh, that's so funny. The wallpaper is like trying to show up. That's really weird. Okay, so I'm going to set it to... Gosh, these graphics. I'll go with this gray here. Space Gray Pro. What a name. Okay, is our Tahoe thing still available? I hate columns. I think columns are useful in some cases. Wow, our Tahoe thing is just gone. Isn't that something? Our Tahoe, when we upgraded the OS, our Tahoe thing disappeared. So what I'm wondering is, now, can we upgrade through unable to check for updates because there's no internet? Okay. I wonder if I can just suspend this. I'm going to try to just suspend this so I don't have to turn it back on again. Well, unless it's going to take as long to unsuspend as it does to boot, which it has the potential. I just want to see if I can fix the internet, because I think I read somewhere that it's just one setting you have to change for the internet to work. What's weird is that the internet worked in Mojave, but now doesn't work. So I wonder if this is like an OpenCore related thing. Maybe that an OpenCore thing could fix. Well, it has to write a whole bunch of data to the hard drive, so I understand why it is taking so long. Okay, here we go into settings, and we go to network adapter. Share with my Mac. Well, the virtual machine is suspended. Oh, I have to connect or disconnect the... That makes no sense. I thought you'd have to at least suspend the virtual machine to change the settings, but no, you have to have them going. Okay, so here we go. The virtual machine is resumed, so to speak. Connect network adapter. Let me disconnect the network adapter, and I'm going to just test this by going into terminal. If terminal would open. And I am going to go ping 8.8.8.8. We are getting no internet. Okay. Now are we getting internet? No, we are not getting internet. Lovely. Let's see what system settings has to say. Oh, is this going to kernel panic again? All I want to do is literally just upgrade this thing to Tahoe. Let me try bridged networking. I think that is the setting that they say on the forum that you have to change it to. So I'll just try auto detect and see if that gets us internet. Gosh, this is so complicated. And I mean, I did not expect this to be so complicated and so convoluted. This is crazy. I mean, I've been working on this sort of on and off since 6 o'clock p.m. So it's been almost 6 hours sort of on and off that I've been dealing with this virtual machine. So here we go. It's an interesting pattern of concentric circles with the come on, give me cursor. Please, can I have my cursor? See, here's the cursor on the iMac. I can move the actual cursor, but the cursor in the virtual machine, we are getting 0 cursor. Isn't that great? Isn't that just wonderful? Can't move the cursor. And the kernel panicked. Isn't that great? All right, I'm gonna like fully shut this down and then restart it. So shut down. I'll just make sure the network settings are where they should be. Bridged networking. I think that's the setting that they say you have to enable. So here we go, powering the virtual machine back on again. Oh, this is exhausting. I mean, everything is exhausting to some degree. At some point, if you deal with it for long enough, like I have with this virtual machine, this is crazy. Wow, it's now kernel panicking in the middle of booting. Like, we are getting nowhere with this process, and I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening. Is this a common problem? Like, this must be a common problem that VMware has. And I would be very curious to see, like, again, I don't have time, number one, before I'm traveling, or number two, I just don't want to right now try OpenCore. But that would be very interesting to try. So moving this virtual machine to the external hard drive made it work initially, but now it just is in a boot loop. And is it because we changed the network? So if we go back, share with my Mac, and we change it back here, will it boot? Or is this just a problem with VMware? I mean, I kind of think it's a problem with VMware. I wonder if this is a common problem that everybody is having. I'm just doing this as one continuous screen recording on the iMac because I don't want to have to keep stopping it and starting it again. For this video alone, I already have 19 clips. Okay. Oops, that is the wrong password. 1234 is our password. Very secret password, eh? All right. So last time I tried this, reporting fixed the kernel panic. Windows server crashed. Great. Is this going to kernel panic or is it going to work? I think it's going to work. Okay. So what happens? So we currently have no internet. I suspect we have no internet. Self-assigned IP. That's so weird. Okay. So let me try just browsing the web real quick because I don't know if I'm doing the ping right. I just want to see here. Apple. No. Sure, we'll go Ethernet because my iMac itself is plugged into Ethernet, which means I get the full gigabit speeds, which is great. Is this going to crash our VM? Okay, wait. So IP is this. Wow, so literally changing the network adapter is making our virtual machine crash. How? And I don't know how to fix this. Because it's either that we get no internet or that we get internet supposedly and the virtual machine crashes. I'm gonna let this try one more time, and if this kernel panics again, I'm switching it here, and then I'm gonna try to I'm just gonna try to enter this IP address manually. The virtual machine shares an IP address of this Mac. So does that mean that I have to? Gosh, this is so confusing. So bridge networking makes the virtual machine crash. Good. Well, that's bad, but it's good to know. Network. So it's routing network traffic. So I need to figure out what my iMac's IP address is. And I think it's probably just this. So I'm going to try to enter this IP address in the virtual machine, and I just want to see if that fixes our problem of not having internet, because you change the network adapter and the virtual machine crashes. I mean, we figured that out. Okay. Yep, indeed, my computer crashed. Yep, that's right. That is not wrong, macOS. Okay, network. Ethernet. All I literally want to do is assign an IP address. IP address. Is this actually... Now I want to do this manually. Will you let me enter an IP address manually? So now I need to go and look. I think I'm having bigger problems. I mean, I'm having bigger problems. I don't think I'm going to be able to upgrade this virtual machine to Tahoe. I just don't think that's going to work. Which is going to make the title of this video be very interesting, which I have not come up with a title yet, but I was thinking about a title like The Incredibly Convoluted Process of Installing Tahoe in a Virtual Machine on an Intel Mac, which is a very long title. But now I'm not even installing Tahoe. It's like I'm trying to install Tahoe and never really done it. So I don't know if this is the point where I give up or whether I try tomorrow with other solutions. Ultimately, I'm probably going to try again with the Z420 if the Z420 runs VMware Workstation. I need to look at the system requirements because my CPU in that Ivy Bridge may be too old to run VMware. Because I know VMware does not run on x58 platforms, like it doesn't run on the 2010 Mac Pro or anything like that. But I can't remember what the system requirements are. So I just want to see, yeah, let's try this one more time. One more time. If this doesn't work, then no. Oh, this is terrible. Okay. Let's try this one more time. And if this crashes our VM, then I am going to give up. I'm just not going to try this on this particular computer. I will try it on the Z420 if VMware Workstation will run on that machine. I'm on it. I kind of doubt it. Let's see. Hasn't kernel panicked yet. There we go. So I'm going to let it try to boot one more time. One more time. Unless there's some setting that I have to change here. Yeah, this may be a known issue. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to say. This may be just kind of a known issue with VMware. This is really weird. I'm not one to say to like try to solve issues like this, because I just don't think it's worth it. I really just don't think it's worth it. I mean, Tahoe's gonna be slow anyway. It's gonna be worse than running Sequoia. I'm gonna keep this VM just. Ooh, hold on a minute. We have not gotten a kernel panic. Gosh, I'm glad I'm just continuously screen recording. Okay, so no kernel panic. Ah, darn it. Darn it, darn it, darn it, darn it. What is happening here? Yeah, this has got to be a known issue. I'm going to look very, very briefly. I'm just going to look this up very, very briefly to see if there are any solutions, easy solutions that I can try right now. So I'll come back when I've sort of looked a little bit. Okay, I found this Reddit thread that's 3 years old, so who knows, that says if you change the number of processor cores from 4 to 2, then it will fix the problem. Magically fix the problem. Let's see. If this doesn't work, I mean it's already almost 12 o'clock midnight, so I don't know how much longer I want to try to deal with this. But we will see. Yay, kernel panic again. It did off camera get to the login window, and I never tried logging it in because I just wanted to shut it down and try changing the number of processor cores. But let's see if it tries to boot on the second attempt. This just proves how patient I'm being, and I shouldn't be being this patient. Yeah, this is way more complicated than I thought. I thought I'd just be able to download a Tahoe installer and throw it in there and it would work. I mean, I may be able to do that. That would be something interesting to try, but I'm just so sick of this by this point. It's already been almost 6 hours on and off. I mean, I've been working on final assignments, while the OS has been installing and things like that. So, what if I go open? Will that fix my problem? Gosh, the cursor is lagging out of control. Report. See, reporting seemed to make it not kernel panic. So I don't know if that was a one-off thing or what, but I clicked report. So Windows Server keeps crashing. So here's what I know about Windows Server crashing, as it just did. Maybe, or maybe this is an unrelated problem, is that on non-metal Macs, on new versions like Sequoia and Ventura and Sonoma and stuff, with OpenCore, or without OpenCore patches, Windows Server crashes. I don't know how I would feasibly get OpenCore in a virtual machine, let alone if it would even work. Again, that's not something I want to necessarily try at this point, because if you want to try that on your own, please. And I would very much appreciate it if you posted down in the comments if you tried OpenCore in a virtual machine on macOS, if it solved any of these problems. I'd be really curious. So I think what we figured out here is that you cannot do this. I'm just going to shut this down. What I figured out is that you cannot do this, or if you can, it's exceedingly exceedingly difficult to get it working. So I'm glad that I tried this, and I'm glad that I went through this process to be able to do this, to try it. And I would be eager to try it on my Z420 if it supports Workstation. I need to look at the system requirements, which I'll do after I stop rolling this. I have seen people who have done that before, so I'm very curious about how to go about that. I think they've had to use some pre-made image, which I'll have to find. But yeah, that would be something very interesting to try. So with that, thank you for watching this video. I know this video is very long, and I have so many clips that I've got to put together. 21 now with this. And sort of blank out IP addresses and stuff like that but I hope that this has provided some kind of value to you. I always enjoy watching these kinds of videos where people are just sort of figuring it out live. I like that, and I will always watch videos like that, so please let me know down in the comments if this is a type of video that you like to watch, and please subscribe to this channel if you have not yet. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.